Namo Namaha. Greetings of the day to you all. During this pandemic situation, most of us worried about halting of regular learning activities, rapidly transforming society, seasons in the universe of knowledge, career building, and overall physio-mental well-being. To address these issues and enrich ourselves, Department of Education, Kumar Bhaskar Verma Sanskrit and Ancient Studies University and Council for Teacher Education Foundation, Assam chapter have jointly organized this national level webinar themed on student community in higher education, wellness approach and career building. It's my privilege and feels great to welcome you all to the webinar with this prayer of Upanishada and taught us by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir. Om Sahana Bhatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviyam Karvavahe Tejasina Madhitamastam Ma Vidisavahe Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May the both of us be protected. May the both of us be nourished. May we both generate energy together. May our attainments be brilliant. May we have not any conflict among ourselves. May there be peace and peace everywhere. I wish and pray you all are safe and comfortable here. Today, we are connected with our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Deepak Kumar Sharma Sir of Kumar Bhaskar Verma Sanskrit and Ancient Studies University, Registrar of the University, Dr. Hemendra Sharma Sir, Professor Emeritus in the Department of Education, Guwahati University, and International Secretary General of Council for Teacher Education Foundation, Professor Nilima Bhagavati Baidu, renowned career guru and head of the Department of Management, Rajiv Gandhi University, Dr. Arindam Garg, eminence counselor and personality development consultant, Madam Laya Agarwala, esteemed colleagues and participants friends from different institutions. Each morning of Kumar Bhaskar Verma Sanskrit and Ancient Studies University fraternity starts with the Subhasitas sent by our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir that inspires us to follow those principles in word and spirit. In the same place, I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Deepak Kumar Sharma Sir, to address the audience and deliver the inaugural speech. Though Sir is well known to most of us, however, I would like to take this opportunity to speak few words about Sir. In Sir's academic journey, Sir is honored with 3 gold medals for academic excellence. Guwahati University Gold Medal, Dr. Jogiraj Basu Gold Medal, and Sharat Chandra Goswami Gold Medal. Besides, Sir is also honored with Kathia Baba Smriti Award for contribution in philosophy, Dr. V. Raghavana Award, Samskarta Sewa Sanmana from Haryana government, and recently, Sir is honored with prestigious Sahitya Academy Award for Asama Bangmanjari, bringing glory to the university fraternity. Under able guidance of Sir, 14 researchers have successfully honored with PhD degree and 4 scholars attained MPhil degree. Sir has authored more than 15 books that showcase Sir's literary skill and contribution to Indian literature. Sir has published more than 160 research papers and articles in reputed national and international journals, and Sir is also editor of 3 journals that reflect Sir's academic bent of mind. Enriched with the experience of sharing and research person in seminars and conferences in and abroad, Sir is also associated with different academic and professional bodies such as UGC, NAAC, Rashtriya Sanskrit Parishad, and many more. Sir joined as Vice Chancellor of Kumar Bhaskar Verma Sanskrit and Ancient Studies University on 11th of November 2011. Not only as an academician, Sir is also a skillful administrator. As an administrator, Sir enters service in different capacities, and basically the university is growing under Sir's able and dynamic leadership. Sir, we sincerely appreciate your presence enlightening deliberations, and unconditional support in each program organized continuously by the university during this critical period. In this program too, I'd like to request you to enlighten us by your wisdom. You are welcome, sir, to deliver the inaugural speech. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Alaka. My greetings to all of you. Respected Professor Nilima Bhagavati, Chairperson of Council for Teacher Foundation, Teacher Education Foundation of Assam, and who is an internationally acclaimed academician. My one-time colleagues, one of my esteemed colleagues, Professor Bhagavati Madam, Professor Arindam Garg from Rajiv Gandhi University, Itanagar. Mrs. Loya Agurala, who is an author and counselor and personal development expert. My colleagues, both administrative as well as teaching, non-teaching staff, and esteemed participants ranging from faculties of various higher education institutions as well as student friends. It is indeed a pleasure on my part to welcome all of you to this virtual platform on an important deliberation regarding students. At the beginning, I must congratulate Dr. Mallika, HOD of Education, Dr. Aloka, and all members of the Department of Education, and also other colleagues of mine who are untiringly conducting such academic programs in our university, especially during these last 3-4 months. I congratulate and would like to put in the record a sincere effort to do something meaningful particularly for the student community. My dear friends, at the very beginning, I must clarify my position that Dr. Loka has spoken so many nice things about me, but it is not the case. I am an average person associated with academics, especially higher education. But at the same time, I don't have any access to any branch of social sciences, including education. So whatever I would like to share with you, will be concentrated upon my empirical findings, what I feel, and for deliberation, experts are very much here. What I feel that throughout my life, as most of you have done, I am spending with the boys and girls from college to university. And I'm fortunate that I have seen the bright faces of the young boys and girls. And sometimes I feel sorrow, I get remorse when some of them I find in later times being frustrated. You see, the students in higher education, they belong to a special age group. They cross the teenage period and they enter adulthood. They have lots of hopes and aspirations. They have energy. Hello? Am I audible, Dr. Aloka? Dr. Mallika? Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yes, sir. We are hearing, sir.
Okay. So these boys and girls, I have found sometimes that their bright faces turn or Usually, particularly some of these boys and girls I met, they get some kind of depressed. They wear some kind of depressed look on their faces. Why does it happen? This is one of the questions I put within myself. They have lots of expectations. They want to do so many things, but in reality, these things do not happen. As a result, uh, they become frustrated, dejected, depressed. And you see the duty of the elderly people like you and I, the senior people like you, teaching, or as well as the guardians, that we should guide them. Not only our guidance should not be restricted within the classroom, walls of the classroom only. It should be the guidance should be a continuous one. My dear friends, as you know that this wonderful world uh, is having different kinds of beings. Among the animate beings, we the human beings only have the cognitive power. We have rationality. So we know how to think. We know what to think about. And as a result, we think about our past, we think about our present, and we think about our future. And accordingly, we work out and go ahead. We make certain initiatives. We, we remain active in our uh, day-to-day life, in our whether it is individual life or our social life. But and all these initiatives, all these actions ultimately lead to some sort of consequences. And these consequences or results will be of two types. One is positive and the other is negative, straight. And you see, but can we say that we have made such a person who admits, who sincerely says that I am a very happy man, I am a very satisfied person? No, nobody is still happy, though he or she has succeeded in achieving what his earlier done was. My dear friends, you see, it is not an easy job to cross a hill but without climbing over to the top. Similarly, after going through lots of strenuous business, we can reach our uh, targeted point. But happiness or satisfaction, it is not the end of a journey. Happiness is not the end of a journey, but it is a journey itself. Satisfaction is a journey itself. You see, we are finding so many boys and girls in our classroom. And sometimes some of the teachers may think, oh, this is the beautiful. These boys and girls, their life is quite pleasant. It is a very satisfactory. This student life was certainly a beautiful life. That means sometimes we regret that that was a better position. Student life was a better one. And students on their part, they think, oh, this is so much difficult, it's so much stressful, we have to read, do home assignment, examinations, so on and so forth. Even after completion of the exam, whether I will get a good job or not. So many negative things. And they also think that the present life is not good one. After completion of my master's, I will get a good job and then my life will be good one. But my dear friends, getting a life full of 100% satisfaction is expectation of such a 100% satisfied life is simply meaningless. We do not find. Suppose one is getting a good job, but he will think that it could have been better. It could have found another job. And supplies one may be distasteful, but he or she may think that my position, I am the worst. I am the worst. What I ever got, it is the worst. But if he or she looks into others, then he or she may find that he is not the worst. He may be bad. He or her position may be bad or worse, but he or she is not the worst. But people think like that. This is what Western philosophers said, that this is divine discontent, and it will remain within us. So satisfaction or happiness, it is a relative, I mean, concept. Whether it depends solely upon our choice. It depends whether how we accept it. So in this position, it is our job to guide our boys and girls, because our future rests with them only. And whenever we talk about wellness of students in higher education, and if I'm not wrong, what does the word wellness mean? Wellness means a, using a positive situation, including including health, including our health, both physical health and mental health, and also the situation or environment where we live in. So the, the equilibrium of these three aspects, uh, both physical, mental, and social, this this may be termed as some kind of wellness. And this wellness, maintaining, getting such a standard of standard in our position, in whether individual or social, it is very difficult. And at the same time, it is more difficult to continue it, to maintain it. So one should be very much careful. And here lies the importance of guiding our boys and girls to make their choice. One must be very careful regarding their choice. And people, the theorists, the academicians, the thinkers, they talk about 8 different aspects of this wellness. Wellness. One, it is a process. Uh, Whenever we become aware of that uh, what I want, actually I want to have. If one becomes capable, I mean, conscious about that, mentally he or she is conscious about that, and he becomes careful in his or her choice, and always tries to make a balance between the body and the mind, then and then only this wellness can be expected from him or her. And this wellness, it is not restricted to one individual only, and only whether it is not confined, it doesn't remain confined within our family only. It is an emotion or a state of mind, the reflection, the consequence or actions of which we may notice in various phases, various stages. So there is one kind of emotional wellness, and it depends upon our uh, self-care. How do we manage our stress? How do we try to solve those problems we are facing? This is one kind of emotional wellness. If I can handle all these emotions perfectly, then I may think that uh, I have emotional wellness. And then environmental wellness. Now people have begun talking about this aspect. Environmental awareness. I mean wellness. Natural um, objects always have a direct impact, in most cases, direct impact upon people, and one should be very much careful about that also. And financial uh, wellness. You see, that day also, a few days back, I wrote perhaps somewhere that money is very important. Even the sages also do not denounce the importance of money for our day-to-day life for the householders. So every educated boy and girl think that he or she must be self-sufficient, self-reliant, and getting that position is a very difficult job, competitive job, and intellectual uh, wellness. It is very important, especially for people like you and I. We often think that I have a master's degree, I have a PhD degree, I have very little to know more, but this is 100% wrong. There is a there are thousands and thousands of, I mean, things which we do not know. As the famous Western philosopher said that I know that I don't know. It is applicable to each and every individual. And then occupational wellness. That is also a very important thing. I always tell my young boys, I mean boys and girls, my younger colleagues, that we have uh, uh, occupational wellness is a very important thing, because whether this is a government job or a private sector job, whether my position is a higher or comparatively higher, or whether my position is not so high, but one should try to remain happy and satisfied. Uh, but it is not the case that everything you make a big full stop. You should not be in big full stop. You should continue our uh, as I always believe that ours is a journey. Life itself is a journey, and there is no full stop. Similarly, whatever we get, we should try to remain content with that, satisfied with that, and at the same time, we should learn from others, from others' life, others' experience, and this will enhance our quality, both mental quality, intellectual quality. If we listen to others, if we share with others, it will obviously result in expansion of our knowledge. And then physical wellness is a primary thing that the student of Sanskrit I know, Sharira Maitam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam says. Sharirang Bhati Bandhinam. The whole body is an abode of habitat of diseases, but we should always make our mind ready to overcome all physical uh, uh, problems and to have a sound life. And social wellness. Social wellness, what is this? Uh, it is the relation with your colleagues, relation with the family members, relation with the neighbors, relation with your colleagues, so on and so forth. Now, you see, and it depends upon how you behave first. You are the first party. So everything depends upon you only. Some people I have met so many colleagues in my life for the last 30 years or so, that some people are always of the habit of complaining. Oh, he is not good. She is not good. She is wicked. He is wicked. He is hypocrite. She is hypocrite, like this and that. But my question is, sir or madam, what are you? What you are? You just first. You assess yourself first, and your relation with others will depend only on your behavior, only on your dealings. So in this case also, you should be very much careful. And the last is one is people say about this spiritual awareness. We should be uh, it should be clarified that spirituality is not religion. Spirituality is not philosophy, but spirituality exists both in religion as well as in philosophy. And we should be very much clear in our mind. That means what is the meaning and significance of our life? We have uh, that we have come to this world. It is not dependent upon our choice. That we have been born as a son or a daughter of students, our parents. It is not my choice. It is not your choice. And one day we will go from this world, from this earth. That is also not our choice. But this middle portion, from the birth to the touching the last breath, it depends upon our choice. So if we know that what is the purpose of our life, what is the utility of our existence, and it will lead to getting some kind of life values. And are these values are nothing but spiritual values, spirituality, and religious activities, worship, prayer, so on and so forth. This may this may be considered as some kind of means, not the end for attaining spiritual. So, my dear friends, as I told you that I don't have any expertise on this subject, but I believe that the students who are endowed with so much of possibilities, so much of capabilities, they should be guided properly. There should be proper counseling from the elderly people like myself and others, uh, so that they could be uh, useful citizens from the not our state, not for their country, but he or she becomes a global citizen. With this, I believe that these three experts, the professor of the Stressor of the eminence of Professor Nilima Bhagavati is with us. She has lots of experience, and Dr. Garg and Madam Laya, both of them are also having their experience, their expertise, and from their deliberation, I am sure that all the stakeholders, all the participants present in this one-day program will be benefited. With these words, again congratulating the members of the Department of Education of our university. Uh, I welcome all of you to our beach, and with this, let me take the pleasure of declaring that this one-day event is inaugurated. Ayam Arambha Shubhaya Bhavatu. May this beginning be for the well-being of all. Namaskar. Dr. Olakha.
Annavadaha Kulapati Mahabhage.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for your thought-provoking, lucid, and insightful speech. You have rightly mentioned that no one is fully satisfied, but we have to learn to be happy, satisfied through divine discontentment. It is indeed my great honor and pleasure to introduce to you all our very own Professor Emeritus Nilima Bhagavati Baidu, ex-head of the Department of Education of Guwahati University, and also the International Secretary General of Council for Teacher Education and Chairman of Council for Teacher Education, Assam Chapter. With years of teaching and research experience at postgraduate level, Madam's skills as an eminent researcher is showcased with 36 research scholars who are successfully awarded PhD degree, while 8 scholars attain MPhil degree. Madam has completed 4 major research projects. Madam's academic bent of mind is reflected in presenting more than 142 research papers in reputed national and international seminars and conferences. Madam is honored with National Award for Ma'am's contribution in the field of education and research. In 2006, Madam was the recipient of Commonwealth Fellow Award, National Best Teacher Award, and Center for Teacher Education Foundation Kerala Chapter's Best Emeritus Teacher Educator Award in 2019. Enriched with experience of invited speaker to 6 countries, Ma'am's leadership and administrative skill is reflected through Ma'am's role as Director of Asian Region of Commonwealth Council for Educational Administration and Management, International Secretary General of Center for Teacher Education Foundation, Director of Student Support Society, Assam, and also Director of Student Wellness Society, Assam, Professor Bhagavati ma'am is also associated with National Council for Teacher Education, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, Bharatiya Shikshan Mandal, Indira Gandhi National Center of Arts, Adolescents and Parent Counselor. More than 3,500 adolescents have been covered under ma'am's counseling program. Ma'am also lead Goodwill Mission to 6 countries. For us, Nilima Bhagavati ma'am is not only a ma'am, but our Baidu. The name that itself implies the dynamic spirit of leadership, inspiration, confidence that ma'am instilled to whom ma'am meet. We are very much grateful and obliged to you, ma'am, for having us this noble opportunity to jointly organize this webinar. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your gesture and cooperation. It is quoted, if you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thought, liberates your energy, and inspires your hopes. And developing positivity forms the crux of overall well-being. We could not have found the right person other than Professor Bhagavati Baidu to speak on this very particular theme. May I now request Professor Nilima Bhagavati Baidu to enlighten and inspire us by sharing your wisdom. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Lakadas. Namaskaram. Wish you all a very good day ahead. And I'm really delighted to see one of the very familiar faces on the screen. And nice to see my brother-like Vice Chancellor, Dr. Deepak Kumar Sharma, an excellent person, I should say, just in front of me on the screen, and all the participants and the faculties of the Department of Education, as well as my brother, Dr. Arindam Garg, and my sister, Laya Agarwala. All I can see you very nicely and clearly on the screen. Thank you all very much. Friends, this webinar is being jointly organized by KBVS&AS University, Nalbari, and the Council for Teacher Education Foundation, the Assam chapter. So on behalf of both, I should say, I welcome you again, and I hope at least 3 of us, the 3 speakers, including the Vice Chancellor, he gave a wonderful speech, a very thought-provoking one. I think all will be benefited and learn something, and that's what I believe before starting. Friends, I was told to shift a little bit as I give lectures in the seminars or webinars, because after retirement, my time, it goes mostly with the adolescent students. My time goes mostly with adolescent students, counseling them on training teachers, and also doing some other administrative, etc. works outside the state. So today I got a chance to speak on one of my most favorite area, that is dealing with students, which is on, sort of motivational speech for you all. So friends, I have selected and 3, Laya, myself, and Dr. Arindam Garg. Our areas are different, but more or less we all come to the same at the end, 3 of us. So friends, what I feel to be very sort of here for you, let me see this. Let me take out my first. I want to present before you on the area success. Success is equal to attitude, goal setting, and motivation. This is what I want to just present before you. And I feel that it is a vast area. I will not be able to cover up all within the limited time, say 20 to 25 minutes. But however, I will try to speak out and present before you whatever is possible for me within this short time. Friends, we all want to be successful, don't we? It's in our mind, we want to be successful. But however, in which way we want to be successful? Successful to be a teacher, successful to be a businessman, successful as a student, successful in any other area like that. But friends, we must have and we should possess the courage to be successful. We must have the courage to be successful, the commitment we need. We need the willpower, we need the integrity, and above all, we need the resilience, which is very important. We need the resilience. That is, whatever obstacle comes, we must be able to bounce back. That is what. Because sometimes I find that certain students, they have certain ambition in life, they go ahead, and when an obstacle comes, they bounce back. They just sit down. In this way, we cannot be successful. Therefore, friends, the ability to success is in all of us. Each and one of us, we are talented in some way or the other. Each and every person in this world, we have that potentiality. And what is that? We have to know what is a potentiality. We have to explore it, bring it out, and we have to march ahead. So therefore, we must know how to reach our full potential. How to reach our full potential, we have to know that. Now, let me tell you, my friends, let us just put two questions to ourselves, just two questions. One is, why some persons have success one after another, and why not some, right? And let me put another question. Why some persons struggle to cross the hurdle one after another to achieve the goal? And why some struggle and reach no goal at all? So to answer this question, you all have it, the answer is in your mind already. I will go to some areas, like practically what I say, the attitude, what I spoke about the motivation, what I spoke about the goal setting, all that will come inside while answering these two questions. So friends, what we need now, when we say success, we have to build 10 strong pillars within us. We need those pillars, and on those pillars we have to stand, okay? Now, the first pillar is belief. We have to believe that I can do it. It is possible to do. I can do it, the belief in yourself. Secondly, the action. You have to get into the action. The belief will not do alone. You have to get into the action. Comes the discipline, how you will proceed. Comes the discipline, effort. Obviously, effort you have to give. You have to sacrifice. You have to come out of your comfort zone. You have to give up your personal time, something, and you have to come and do it for success. Creativity, which is very important. Persistence. Persistence is what? The focus. You have to give the focus on that. The attitude, which I will touch after some time. The attitude. The character. Character, I mean over here, that is who you are, or the real you, the you within, the character, and the gratitude, which is very important. Now, gratitude, you know what happens, my friends? Gratitude, it unlocks the fullness of life, and it turns what we have into enough. It turns what we have into enough, and it turns denial into acceptance. And friends, it turns a house into a home, which is very important. It turns the house into a home and bring peace for today and creates the vision for tomorrow. So combining all this is what we have to build in ourselves in order to attain that success. Friends, success, sometimes we say that it is easy, I will be successful. We often say that, but it is maybe easy for some, but we have to give effort in it. We have to try for it. We have to go for it, yes. It is not like the jackal and the sour grapes. He jumped, he couldn't get the grapes, then he gave up and said, the grapes are sour. No, you have to work hard. You have to work hard and you get into the path of your success. But sometimes you have to be also careful. I came to the pillars, I told you, but sometimes you have to check yourself. You have to guard yourself against certain negativity. You should not give chance to those negativities to come into your life if you want to be successful. And the first and the foremost one is the ego. Ego, it is really very negative. Second one is the fear. You are starting and all of a sudden the fear starts. That is a big obstacle. Then confusion. What I will do? Will it be possible? Will it be acceptable? Can I do it? The confusions, okay? Procrastination, that is very bad. That will not lead you to success. Oh, I'm feeling tired. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh no, I want to sleep now. I will do it tomorrow. If you go on procrastinating your, work, it will lead nowhere. The right thing should be done at the right time in order to be successful. If you do not have commitment, then also the success will be difficult, and lack of persistence. I repeated that, said that already earlier. You have to be very, very focused. Friends, let me tell you an episode. That is, to achieve, we have to work hard. I was traveling in his car on the highway. All of a sudden, a beautiful scene came in front of him. Acres of land with greenery, with plants. He could not resist. He went out of the car and was just walking inside it. It was a farm, a beautiful farm. Okay. Then while he was going towards the farm, the owner of the farm came towards him. The man said, who got out of the car, "Sir, it's a wonderful farm you are building. God is really blessing you. God is really blessing you." Then the man said, "Sir, you are correct. I'm getting the blessings of God, but God has not made it. I have made it with my own hands." This is what should be the mind, that everything we cannot always look up. We have to, yes, we have to look up, but we have to work with determination. We have to work with courage. And then he said, this land was barren. There were no plants, no water. I tried. For the last 5 years, I tried and tried. Now it is a farm. It is a farm which the people comes and says. So friends, this I have just told you that to achieve success, we have to work hard. Nothing is possible. Nothing will come to you unless and until you work hard. So in order to go up, to achieve the goal, you have to work. You have to be focused. You have to be focused in mind. Attitude is also accountable to your success. Attitude comes. I think all of you know the story of Arunima Sinha. And I always, whenever I read and see her picture, I get motivated like anything. Very briefly, I'll tell you, for those who doesn't know, Arunima Sinha, she was national volleyball player. Once, while traveling by train, the robbers came to her and tried to snatch her golden chain. She tried to fight, and the robbers threw her out of the train, and she fell out, and her legs were under the wheels of the train, and the leg was cut. There were people who came and saw the very sad, tragic incident, took her to the hospital. Somehow then she came to Delhi, as I read in the net. Then her leg was amputated. A volleyball player, her leg was amputated. So she had, I'm just telling you her attitude. She had such positive attitude towards life. She said, I will not defeat myself in life. I have to go up, I have to climb in life. So what she did, gradually, with one artificial leg, it came to her mind that I will one day scale Mount Everest. And she took training under Basandri Pal. I think you all know her name, Basandri Pal. And she, one day, she climbed Mount Everest to put the Indian flag on top of the Mount Everest. This is attitude, my friend. This is what you need in order to be successful. If something happens and you all become negative all of a sudden, no, it is not possible, then you cannot be success in life. So this story is not a real story of Arunima. So we find that when we want success, we have to do what? We have to be very positive. We have to have the right positive attitude in order to climb the steps, in order to climb the staircase of success. This is what is very important. Attitude, in every step of life, it leads to success. And whether as a student, whether as a teacher, whether as a businessman, whether as a citizen of a country, you will find that this is what is essential, the attitude to life, the attitude to success. And there is another, I will not tell you many cases, there are lots of cases, but one I cannot resist, I will tell you. A vendor was selling balloons, okay, colorful balloons. And all of a sudden the balloons went up. All of a sudden a little boy came to him and said, the balloons are all in colors. Can you fly high? One black balloon? Then the vendor said, yes, I can, but I will do it and show you. Then he flew it up. He filled in helium and it went up. Then he said, the boy said, how did you do it? Then he said, what is inside the balloon? It is helping it to go up. And that is what is the attitude. The attitude must come from within. The attitude must come from within. It must make us go up. Therefore, human beings, my friends, they can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. This, you have to keep it in mind always. You can alter your life by altering your attitude of mind. That will lead you to the destination you want to go. So therefore, the positive thinker, the result is positive, it will lead to success, and to a negative thinker, it will lead to negativity, and the result will be negative. So it is always, 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 we have to have positive attitude. And you know yourself always best. Always try to remove all the negativity from you, okay? And try to sort of bring inside the positive attitude to build your success. Now, let me come to another one. Most of you are students, I believe, over here, and you must be having some ideas as what you want to be, Therefore, I will just next touch a little bit on the goal setting. My brother, Dr. Arindam Garg, he will be touching many points, so very briefly, I'll talk about it. Friends, when we board a bus or a train, we always we are focused in our mind where we are going, isn't it? To which place I will go, or in which station I have to get down in order to go to that place. Similarly, a football player, when he's on the field, he is very focused. He is very focused to the goalpost because he had to kick the football to enter the net. Okay, so we have to be very focused in our goals of life. Now, in order to do the goal setting, in order to sort of frame your goal or focus on your goal, you have to keep concentration on 5 Ds, A, B, C, D, on 5 Ds. And the first one is discipline, which is very important for you all. Second one is the direction you'll be going. Third one is the dedication, which you have to put. Fourth one is the determination. I'll do it, I will make it. And fifth one is the deadline. You have to give a time. Yes, I can do it within this limit. You have to put a deadline. If you don't have a deadline, then you will be going on very lazily do it. So you have to focus what is your deadline. Therefore, goal setting, it is an action plan. It is an action plan, just like what you do when you go for a journey. You go to the internet, see the place or anything where you want to visit, you see the place, do the ticket, then board the plane, board the train, travel, get down, etc., etc. It goes, okay? So what happens? We have to do the action plan very, very correctly. And for that, goal setting, what we need? We need, the goal must be specific. The goal must be specific. And we have to monitor that goal ourselves. We have to monitor the process we are going to achieve that goal. It is you who can do the monitoring of yourself, how far I'm going, how far I'm progressing. That you can do yourself. Thirdly, achieving. You have to achieve within the time, and you have to complete it in the time bound. So goal setting, it depends not that I have a goal, I want to be a professor, I want to be a sort of, say, a hostess, okay? You have the goal, but it is not that. You have to plan and get into action. Then only it will be possible. The goal must be realistic. It must not be unrealistic. You know, a farmer had a dog. What the dog do? The dog sits by the roadside in front of the gate of the farmer. And whenever vehicle passes by the farmer's house, the dog starts running and barking after the vehicle. I think this scene you must have seen. We always see barking, and he knows that he will never catch that vehicle. So one day, his neighbor asked him that I always find your dog, whenever a vehicle comes, he runs after the vehicle, goes on barking, 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 and then comes back again. Okay? Then he said, look, what bothers me is not his barking, but what bothers me, what he will do, even if he catches the vehicle, what he will do. It is all unrealistic. Therefore, when we talk our goal, when we think about our goal, we have to be very, very realistic, my friends. We have to be very realistic. We have to be very realistic. Setting the goal. Let's become a little bit to your motivation. This is what I always focus on my students, how motivation works in life. Friends, there are people who have scope to do better. There are another set of people who know what to do to make their life better, right? But they are not doing it. They are not doing it. Why? You all know the answer. This is because the spark, the ignition to light the lamp is missing in them. And that ignition to light the lamp is missing, we call it what you know, motivation. Friends, motivation from within, and motivation is powerful because it can persuade, it can convince, and it can take you into action. So motivation must be there. For successful, it is not only what I said, the attitude, it is not only that we have to set the goal, but equally, we need the motivation. Motivation is the driving force, as we say. It is the driving force in life. And the source of motivation is the desire to what? Desire to succeed, desire to do better, desire to achieve, desire to show excellence in the chosen field, right? So therefore, to getting motivation, what is the best motivation, you know? The best motivation is self-motivation. Self-motivation is the best motivation. We have internal or we have external motivation, but self-motivation is the best motivation. And we have to guard that against one enemy. You know who is that enemy? That enemy is called inertia. That enemy is called inertia. Elehua, lethargy. You have to guard yourself in order to motivate yourself. And when you motivate yourself, you will find that it is your attitude drive, it is your attitude which is going and keeping you on the go. The motivation, self-motivation. So how can you get this self-motivation? I read one small book. I found it in our Guwahati University library about, I think it was not only 2 years back. Somebody left it on the table, not a book, sorry, it is a journal. Somebody left it on the table. No one was, I just went through the pages, and I saw the word auto-suggestion. And by the side, there was the picture of Obama, the former president of America. And I read, there are persons who always go for auto-suggestion. That means they get motivated by auto-suggestion. There are lots of people. Virat Kohli, the famous cricketer, he goes for auto-suggestion. I read all this, is in a position to tell you. There are so many people named, I can tell you, who goes for auto-suggestion, give suggestion, talk to themselves, give suggestion to themselves in order to do better, in order to go ahead, in order to succeed. Therefore, when we say auto-suggestion, they are positive statements which we give to ourselves, right? We give to ourselves, like, I am a good girl. Yes, I am a good girl. I say it constantly to myself. I am a good boy. As we say to our students, oh, you are wonderful. You are a wonderful student. Maybe he will say to himself, yes, I'm a wonderful student. I will do better. I will excel. This is something what is needed to be developed, in the minds and heart of our students, these auto-suggestions, to motivate themselves, to say all the positive things about themselves. They will excel in every stage of life. Friends, therefore, we have to give these very wonderful suggestions to our friends and how to change their mind also. How to talk to it. It's very important to talk to oneself at least once a day. You have to talk to yourself, what you have done, what you are doing, how you can improve, how you can excel. Auto-suggestion is talking to oneself. So you have to start all this. Again, it leads me that auto-suggestion, sometimes it so happens that I want to show to my parents, I want to show to the world, I want to show to their family members that I have to excel and I will work hard. There was a boy. The boy plays football. He was in a school. He plays quite good football. But the coach, he always keeps him in reserve. And everybody noticed that the boy, when he comes to the football field to practice football, the father comes with him. And the father quietly, he sits in a corner. So the time came, the school, they have to enter into final, but the boy was missing. He did not come for long. But suddenly, on the final day, he came to the school and he told the coach, sir, I want to play. At first, the coach was angry. He said, no, you didn't come for the last few days. I will not allow you to play. He went on pleading. He went on pleading. And then the coach says, okay, fine, you play. So he was entered into the final team, the boy. But it was excellent. He scored goals and goals, 3 or 4 goals he gave, and made his school the winning team. The coach came running and hugged him and told him, how is it possible you didn't practice? How did you score the goals? He said, you must have seen my father used to come with me and sit in the corner. He was blind. But I didn't come to school to play because he expired 4 days ago. He is now in heaven. And I want to show him that I can play football. He's watching me from heaven. This is an example how to believe the strong attitude within, how it builds in them. The coach, he was sort of so astonished that how the boy played and what wonderful statement he has given. So belief, that is also needed when we want success, when we want to do something and show excellence. Friends, this internal motivation, it works wonder. It works wonder, and it sort of, as it comes from within, and it arises the responsibility, it arises what you say, we call it the pride, it arises the belief in you, it is an inner gratification. In one word, I can tell you, it is the inner gratification, which is the feeling of accomplishment. Therefore, internal motivation, we need it. Internal motivation also is essential in order to reach the goal. Nothing is impossible, my friends. Everything is possible. We have to strike out the word I and am. Everything is possible in this world. We can do it. We'll be successful. And what we need is our attitude, our positivity, our goal setting, our motivation, and many others, so that we can reach the goal successfully. There are some more. I think my time will not limit me to speak for more. Definitely, the world is small now. We'll meet again. And I'd like to talk to you, to interact with you. But in this pandemic, it is really great. I congratulate the university under the leadership of Professor Deepak Kumar Sharma, the wonderful faculty members who are my students. I feel so proud to see you, Alaka and Malika. I'm really feeling proud today. You are organizing so successfully. You will reach the goal in your life, I can tell you. And I'm enjoying how you are doing the anchoring, how you are talking. And all the teacher friends, because this pandemic, it has helped us to learn and gain knowledge more and more. And thanks God. Why? Because e-conferences, e-seminars and webinars, they are coming in great numbers, and also we are enriching our knowledge. That is really great. And more such webinars should be held. And we have so much wonderful people, two wonderful speakers with us today. You'll be hearing them very shortly, and we should take the full advantage of all this. And I congratulate also all the participants who have come and joined. It shows your thirst for knowledge. It shows your hunger for knowledge, and definitely you will be enriched with this knowledge. So at the end, I thank you all. I thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor for the initiative he has taken. Just in the morning, I talked with him today, and definitely I would like to visit his wonderful university and meet all his wonderful faculty members and visit again, to be with them again. And all the participants who have come, I thank you all, and thank you once again. And in this pandemic, I pray to God, Sarve bhavantu sukhino, sarva santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pasyantu, ma kachid dukha bhavate. With this sloka, I wish you all good health. I wish you all safety. Good days are coming very soon, and we will be again in offline, and that is what is in me. With these words, I am wrapping up what I have said, and I thank you all once again, and namaskar. Over to Dr. Alagadas. I'm not hearing you. Not hearing you. The voice is not audible. No. Please check your audio. It is your microphone is mute, Alaka. Microphone is mute. Your microphone is mute. Unmute your microphone, please. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry for the disturbance.
No, it's okay. Fine, fine. It happens. It happens.
Thank you, ma'am. Really motivates. It teaches us to focus on self-motivation and auto-suggestion. During this pandemic situation, one crucial issue we have to address is generating employment avenues for which proper goal setting as well as choosing right career is very much needed. To address this issue in more detail, we have with us today Dr. Orindam Garg. Now I would like to take the privilege to introduce Dr. Orindam Garg sir with the participants. Dr. Arindam Garg sir is the head of the Department of Management of Rajiv Gandhi University, which is a central university. Sir is enriched with more than 25 years of experience in corporate, government, and academic sector. Sir is the former human resource head of Vodafone in Northeast region and also has experience of working with reputed organizations like Tata, ABN, AMRO, AO, Hewitt, etc. In Northeast region, Sir is best known as Career Guru. Under his initiative, Career Consultation Program was initiated in Doordarshan and also in Assam Tribune too. Sir is also invited as resource person in numbers of career-related training programs and workshops. Sir also has prominence in soft skill training, current issues, and many more. Sir, we feel very honored by your gracious presence in the webinar. We welcome you, sir, and thank you for devoting time for this webinar. I would like to request you to deliver your speech. Please, Garg, sir. Over to you, Garg, sir.
Madam, am I audible first of all?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you are audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to confirm that. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Deepak Sharma, and Professor Nilima Bhagavati, who's like my sister and the chairman of CTEF, Ms. Loya Agarwala, one of the speakers for this webinar, the esteemed faculty members of the university, Dr. Malati Kalita, Dr. Alaka Das, and all the others who are present there. And of course, the participants of this webinar. At the outset, let me thank the university and the CTEF for giving me this opportunity to speak in this webinar. Now, you know, of course, I do a lot of career counseling sessions across Northeast. One of the reasons why I do it is that, you know, I have worked in the corporate into academics right now, have some experience in the government also. And I do this more out of a passion for giving back to society whatever I can. Now, having said that, around 10 years back, Doordarshan Northeast wanted to start a serial in as Career Guru. So they approached me. I was at the time, I was at the time in Vodafone, heading human resources and administration for Northeast. In fact, I launched Vodafone in Northeast, and it spoke to me and they told me that, you know, it would be good if you can speak to the students of Northeast from time to time, and you know, if we can get this across to a variety of people across the region. I said, okay. We started that serial, which received a lot of response. Some of you might have been very young at that age, and it continued for around 6 months' time. I did it as and when I can. Gradually, I introduce other people across also. Assam Tribune, of course, has been the forte where I started off the career section for the campus newspaper. Some of you would be, you know, looking at the Assam Tribune and, you know, Northeast India's premier newspaper. And when you look at the campus newspaper on Monday, you will see a career section out there. These days, of course, I don't write because I have very less time to get into that. But I started off writing there, and there was a question and answer section that came up, which was the concept of Assam Tribune, and they took me as the expert, and there was a lot of question and answers coming in regularly throughout the week. I gave some time out there. Now, what I want you to understand is that why I did this is I realized that when I worked outside, I have worked in, you know, Mumbai, Delhi, I have international exposure. I realized that our students of Northeast, I hail from Assam, I am an Assamese. Assam and Northeast, they are, you know, not very conscious or aware about careers that are available. One of the reasons for this is that there is no professional help available when you speak about careers. Students as such, you know, they do not know whom to approach to seek a professional career counseling or, you know, a professional discourse on what careers to take up. So the endeavor with the Assam Tribune and Doordarshan Northeast was to ensure that the information in terms of careers got across to different sections of societies, especially in the rural areas. Adding on to that, in my weekends, I try and go to the rural areas of Assam, some parts of Arunachal. These are my two primary states right now, to ensure that, you know, we have discussions with students who are in the rural areas and they are acquainted with careers and options that are available in the industry and otherwise. I want to tell you a thing out here, very important thing. You know, when you go to a Western country, the first thing that is done by the students is a career counseling session in class 8 or 9. You don't choose your career based on what your parents tell you. You don't choose your career based on what your friends might be doing. You don't choose a career because somebody is telling you you need to do it. Nor do you choose a career only on the basis of information supplied to you. You go to a professional career counselor, you do a test. The test is designed to understand your aptitude and interest, and also to understand what is it you are suitable for. That's the first step. Second step, you used to do as a part of careers in the Western countries, and Scotland and England are very good models in this, is that they used to give exposure to students in those areas in which they, you know, which were identified for them as areas where they were likely to be successful. And the students used to pursue their careers out there, and they were given options of changing their careers subsequently, say in class 11, 12, whatever, in case they were not able to meet up to expectations in the line that they were following from 9th and 10th. Now, what used to happen in India, I'm saying used to happen, mark my words, used to happen was, we generally follow the career, you know, whether it is science or commerce or arts, more because of peer pressures and some information that we used to get, or possibly because of the fact that this is a good career to have, I'll get a job and I'll get some money. Now, let me tell you, you know, all of us, you know, are at the, you know, would tell you, Professor Bhagavati, Agarwal, everyone would tell you that to do and pursue a career throughout your life, you need to be, first of all, be interested in it. Interested in the word. You need to be interested, and then you need to have the aptitude to do it. I am a management teacher, and I like being a management teacher. But it doesn't mean that my younger brother would also need to be a management teacher. So, one is professional career counseling. Second is choosing a career based on your aptitude. Now, what is the heartening fact about India right now is the new education policy has come up. I was one of the members, it came to our university also, who have given certain inputs in terms of the new education policy. And it is heartening to know and note two facts out here which are very heartening for me. One is flexibility in choosing careers. You know, for a, typical example is that you can have something like, your quantum physics as major, and you can even have music as minor in your graduation. There is no hard, fast rules, which is very heartening, and it helps. Second is, what gives me immense pleasure to see is that coding has been started from class 6. And mark my word, dear participants, coding is the future. Technology is the future. Whatever we do, we will have to live it. So by the way, I just wanted to make this clear. I am speaking in favor of the education policy as an academician and not to be perceived in terms of anything else. Now, COVID. COVID has set an interesting pattern in the world. I am a speaker who moves around the whole audience. I don't sit or I don't stand. I move around the audience and I speak. Now I'm sitting and speaking to all of you. Now COVID has said certain new things in the for people. One is that it has brought in what we call new normal. What is the new normal? The new normal is things like online education, flexibility in learning, working from home, etc. And this is going to stay, it's nothing to do with the pandemic. If you ask me that is this going to continue or, once the pandemic closes, will it change? Yes, of course we will be continuing offline, but there will be a lot of things that will continue online. We have been directed, in the sense, many of our higher education institutions are aware about this, that we have been directed to move into online courses, which is the MOOC, massive online courses. So you'll be having an exposure to education through online also, besides your normal universities and colleges, which is good because you get to hear from other people besides your own teachers. Now, coming from online education, the other thing which is becoming normal is working from home. I'm sure some of you must have heard about this, that Infosys and is planning to make its employees work from home till June 2021. And there are other companies, which are stressing on the fact that we need to work from home. We need to look at online things. We need to look at technology. Now, having set the base in terms of what is the future, I also want to make you understand how your day will be like in the future. You'll get up in the morning, as usual. We all do get up in the morning. You'll be having a housekeeping robot at your home. Okay, a housekeeping robot. Most households, 70 to 80% of the households would be having it. The housekeeping robot will be responsible for managing day-to-day affairs of your house, whether it's cooking, cleaning, or any other service. Once you do your normal activities, have your breakfast with the help of the housekeeping robot, as and where required. You would be going down to your machine-driven car. There will not be any drivers. Or you would be calling a taxi, which would be a machine operator. Or you'd be calling a flying car, which is likely to be commissioned in the US in the last part of this year, 2020. So by whatever that mode, which does not involve anything pertaining to humans, you go to your office. You reach your office, that is if you go to your office. Some of you will be having your offices at your home. That's the other thing I need to add here. When you reach your office, you would be having virtual assistants. Your conference room or your meeting room would be equipped with all kinds of gadgets, which will help you to speak to people, which will help you to speak to your clients, customers, which will help you to speak to your colleagues who might be in different locations all across, whether it's Kolkata, Mumbai, United States, or Australia for that matter. You'd be having a lunch, essentially, which in a canteen, where some of the staff would be robots, some of the staffs would be human. You'd be looking, your wife would be telling you, or your husband would be telling you that I need to do some shopping. You'll be connecting with your virtual stores assistant, who will be a human being. Or the shopping. Meetings, we are already doing it. It's already online. And
Hello.
Hello.
বাইদেউ অৰিন্দম ছাৰক শুনি আছেনে?
নাই নাই মই শুনা সেইটো নাই নেটৱৰ্কটো নাই নেকি
একচুৱেলি অৰিন্দম ছাৰ ৰাজীৱ গান্ধী ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিত আছে যে হিল ষ্টেচন কাৰণে নেটৱৰ্ক ইছ্যু খুব হয় তাতে ছাৰে কালিও কৈছিলে মই ছাৰক ফোন কৰি আছোঁ বাইদেউ অৰিন্দম ছাৰ প্লিজ বিয়াৰ উইথ আছ
প্লিজ কল নেটৱৰ্ক
I think এতিয়া আছোনে?
হয় হয় এতিয়া শুনিছোঁ ছাৰ
এতিয়া শুনিছোঁ
হয় video to am I seen in the video?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are visible, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Like somebody was saying, network issues out here are there, so please bear with me. I have come to I'm not even in the campus right now. I have come down to a town to take this webinar so that there is proper connectivity. Okay, so evening, what you do is you go to a place. These places will be known as whatever names you call them, virtual theaters or virtual places to virtual entertainment places, and you're having different options out there. The options will be like you want a tour of Antarctica, you want a tour of the Arctic Pole, you want a tour of say New York, and you have those options. You buy your tickets. The tickets will be given to you again by whoever is in the counter, possibly a human or a robot, I don't know. You take your tickets, you go inside, and you get a virtual simulation of Antarctica or whatever you want to watch. Then you have your dinner in a drive-in restaurant. The car is parked there. You have options either to sit in the restaurant or take your food in the car. Deliveries are given. Deliveries will be given to you. You have your food and you come back home, back to the assistance of your housekeeping robot. Now, I know I'm saying, some of you would be wondering, what is this man saying? Let me tell you, this is going to happen in the very near future, very soon. I am talking about a near future. You know why? Because only then you understand what are the careers that will be there in the future. If we don't know what is the future, it will be difficult for us to understand the careers in the future. So careers are going to change. There will be traditional careers, but there will be other careers also which will be coming in and which will be helping you in terms of a variety of activities. Now, when you choose your careers and whatever you do right now, please try to develop skills which keeps you going in life. I always say that you need to build skills. Your educational degree, yes, we all need our educational degrees. I do not deny that. But at the same time, try to build skills which would help you in the future. Now, how do you build these skills? That's build the skills by a variety of ways. Since we are saying technology is the future, and very soon we are going to have a lot of online courses as well as coding is going to come up in higher institutions also. I would suggest that in addition to your normal programs that you are doing, your B.Ed or your Masters in Psychology, MBA, please try to develop these coding skills as a program. Your next generation, class 6 onwards, they will be anyway developing it. But currently, for your generation, you would need to take the initiative to develop these skills and mainly the coding skills. Now, coding skills, you know what would become important? We should not think that human intervention is going to decrease. No, human intervention. Your behavioral skills. Succeed in life, your technological skills plus your behavioral skills are very, very important. So a combination of both. Now, let me explain with the simplest of example to understand. What is the simplest of example to understand? I'm sure all of us get some calls. Somebody calling you, your telecalling, somebody is doing you, and somebody is doing an, coming to your, calling you up for other things. When you go to a departmental store, say, suppose to buy a cloth, there is a sales boy or saleswoman trying to sell something to you. So when you go to buy a car, there are salespeople to assist you. Sales is not going to go away. Sales and marketing is not going to go away. What is going to happen is that the marketing and sales is going to happen through technology. People will be exposed to technology whereby your products you would be marketing to people through the mobiles or whatever technological forms will be used, and your salespersons or the marketing people will be marketing those products through the technological media. Person will actually become more critical. You know why? Because it is easier to do sales and marketing when you are across the table and meeting the person. But it is difficult to do calls when the person is away. So the traditional careers will evolve. You would not go from place to place. You would need to do these things through your technological intervention. Now I want to tell you about certain careers, which may come up and is likely to come up as a result of the changing norms of technology and the way the future is going to happen. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, one of the things that is good is artificial intelligence. A lot of interventions required in terms of artificial intelligence. Now, we would be requiring experts in artificial intelligence who would be able to guide the way forward for artificial intelligence cannot work by itself unless guided. So there would need to be people who would be guiding this artificial intelligence in the form of roles like human-robot interface manager, somebody like a artificial intelligence consultant, somebody like, a workshop manager. So these roles will be coming in the future, and the education system will also evolve, is evolving already, will also evolve to give students skills and knowledge and technological abilities to manage these kind of careers. Now, when we speak about, other types of careers, say for example, somebody wants to become an interior designer, which is a very, in vogue profession these days. Now, what would happen is, if you want to develop a career as an interior designer, you will need to look at, your knowledge will need to be built in such a way that when you do the interior home designing, you are able to put in the technological gadgets and also assemble them as a part of your role in that home designing. In the sense, if you have a customer, the customer will tell you that besides my normal interior designing, which is right now more confined to the civil part, they will tell you that you will need to also assemble for me things like, the automatic cooking machine. You need to put in a amphitheater, which, virtual reality effects, all those things. So a traditional role like a interior home designer will also become very technological oriented. Inputs as which would help you in the future. In a particular job or career that you want to be exposed to. One good way of doing this, which I always tell people, is that try to get into a firm or try to get into an industry as an higher educations would be coming up with a lot of alternative courses in the near future. It is expected that we would be giving, courses which would be very job oriented and which should be very practical oriented for the benefit of students. So as and when you pick up your degrees or your post-graduation degrees, please try to pick up these additional skill degrees, which would be also be helpful to you. Coming back to the topic of how do I make my career great, or career building as we call it, it has already been touched in detail by Professor Nilima Bhagavati, but I want to leave you with 3 essential things which are very important for achieving success in life, based on my personal experience and based on the experiences of other people, successful people. Number one, what you can do today, do not take it till tomorrow. One of the key reasons for people not achieving success is procrastination, as we call it. You know, there is a tendency, there is a work, and for the work, there is a last date given, say 31st of August. Research proves that most people will do that work only on 29th, 30th, or 31st August, not before that, even if they have time. But the point is, if you close that today, you need not prolong it till 29th, 30th, and 31st. If you close it today, if you can do it today, you get time to do some other things. Successful people never procrastinate. They do not use procrastination. Second aspect, successful people always have positive thoughts. In life, there are instances, you know, when you see that, you know, a lot of people are perhaps going ahead of you because they are taking some shortcuts, you know, and there is a tendency that you may develop some kind of a, you know, negativity because of that. But don't worry, that is temporary. Stay positive. If you stay positive, success is yours. I want to tell you one more thing. If there is a difficult task coming your way, do not look at it as a difficult task. Look at it as a learning experience. All of us have faced difficulties in life and will face difficulties in the future also. We need to face these difficulties in the right spirit, and we need to see that these difficulties are not difficulties for us, but a learning experience. That's how we all learn in life. So that's the second thing, positive part of it. Third is, the final thing, none of us have reached where we are today without facing failure. That's the truth. I'm not telling you this. Ask any of your elders. There is a saying in English. I know sayings are very old and some people say, what are these sayings? But it's a fact. You know, failures are stepping stones to success. Only if we fail, we understand how to achieve success. Do not give up in case of failures. Keep striving, keep doing whatever you need to do. Finally, success will be yours. I finally, you know, it's essentially summarizing a career workshop into a short time is always difficult. So I have tried to give you inputs, short inputs which would be beneficial for you all. Ideally, this can be a, you know, of course, in a webinar, it's not possible. These are ideally sessions of 4 to 5 hours that I take. So today the challenge was to compress this and give you what I feel was relevant and can be taken forward for you, can be taken forward by you in the near future. So, ending, I would like to tell you that we need to we need to be technology upgraded. We need to be emotionally intelligent. We need to be flexible. Flexibility in life is very, very important, especially in the new normal. There would be things that would be keep coming up, which we may or may not be able to do. But what will definitely will keep us ahead is being flexible to accept those changes and moving ahead. Continuous upgradation of skills and knowledges. It's a never-ending process. We can do it till we are 80 years old or 85 years old. Skills and knowledge are a continuous upgradation, and ensuring in life that we are doing what is interesting for us, what we like to do. So to do that, you need to build, you need to think about your career right now. You need to think what you want right now, and you need to build your skills and aptitude around it. I would call it a day, and I thank you all for listening to me. I thank the university for hosting this wonderful webinar. I thank the faculties of the university. I thank Professor Nilima Bhagavati for giving me this opportunity. I would also share my email with the with the conveners of this webinar, because I believe that careers counseling is not something, or career support is not something that is limited to a half an hour, 1 hour, or even a 4-hour workshop. In case of any help, support, or advice required at any moment of time, please do email me. I may not be able to get back to you immediately, because there are a lot of other things which takes up our time in terms of the university students and other things. But of course, I would get back to you and ensure that I support you in whatever way possible. Thank you so much. Madam, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, you are audible. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative and lucid presentation. We hope participants will be benefited by the inputs provided in this course. To quote, "It is not stress that kills us. It is our reaction to it." During this period, stress remains the buzzword and stress management the pertinent issue. We are delighted to introduce you the renowned Personality Development Counselor, Madam Loya Agarwala. Born and brought up and educated in United Kingdom, Ma'am is an alumni of Brunel University of West London. Ma'am has completed her Master in Psychology and Postgraduate Diploma in Counseling from the Institute of Counseling, New Delhi. Presently, Ma'am is serving humanity as Personality Development Counselor through UCAN, which is a Center of Personal Development Training. Ma'am, because of your modern approach and fresh perspective in counseling, you are associated with several reputed educational institutions all over the Assam for the last 18 years. Ma'am also served as counselor for the Assam State Women Commission for a number of years. Ma'am has authored a book entitled A School Counselor's Diary, which is published by the National Publisher of Westland, that is based on 34 real cases that helps parents in bridging the gap between children and parents. Having much experience for guiding students for personality development, let us welcome Madam Loya Agarwala to speak on stress management. We eagerly waiting to listen to you, ma'am. Over to you, Agarwala, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, all right, wonderful. Thank you for the introduction. I'm very grateful to be here at this webinar. I'm very grateful to KBVS&AS University, as well as CTEF for their collaboration for this webinar. In particular, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Deepak Kumar Sharma, for his wonderful introductory inaugural speech, which was truly very enlightening. And of course, to the International Secretary General, Dr. Nilima Bhagavati, a person I truly admire and I'm very grateful to be here for. Thank you, Nilima Baidu. It's wonderful to be associated with you through this platform. My earlier speakers have spoken beautifully on such an important topic of student welfare and well-being. And indeed, I hope that I will be able to touch and put together everything that they've said so that the students will benefit from our combined knowledge in some way during the course of today's session. I will be touching on aspects which are practical in nature, and at the same time can be used not throughout the pandemic, but beyond into your lives in general, so that you can learn to focus your energies and become positive as you go through the rest of your lives. I'm a counselor, so I've been working with adolescents for the last 18 to 20 years. And I have actually devoted my life to the upliftment of children. And as a result, have opened my own center, which has been flourishing now for 2 years. So without further ado, I know it's been quite a long webinar. Let me start with the first slide. If you'd allow me to share the screen. If you could just allow me to, and just enable me. I'll go straight to the first screen. I won't take long, but all the information I give, and we have 257 participants, kindly take a pen and paper and jot down the important points that I will be covering, because these are practical tips and knowledge that you can use throughout the course of the pandemic and throughout your lives, and I use them myself. I truly believe each of our speakers are actual manifestations of what they are saying. They are not just reading it from textbooks and imparting the knowledge. They are living what they say. So that is a very important part of today. All right, so let's start with the first screen. Great. All right, stressors and stress management for wellness. That is the topic that I will be speaking on. And before we begin, I'd like to just remind you all that whilst we are in this webinar, many of us may be forgetting the fact that we are in a lockdown and going through a pandemic. It's not a bad thing to forget, but at the same time, we need to be very cautious about what we have in store for us. So let's have a look at stresses and stress management for wellness. Let's start with the first slide. I just want to very quickly rush through what is stress exactly. Stress is actually your mind and body's reaction to a real or imagined threat, event, or change, which is called a stressor. So in our lives, could you please not draw on the screen?
Yeah, the screen is a little bit...
Yeah, I should actually disable the, I should actually disable.
Yeah, it's fine now.
It's not. I'm going to start again. Oh dear. Can the person please stop? Actually, I should disable the animations. I think that's the problem. Disable annotation. Okay, done. Let us start again. All right. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
All right. I just start. I'm going to start at the beginning again and share the screen one more time. A new share. Okay, so here we go. Stress, what exactly is stress, and how it manifests in our lives. Stress is your mind and body's reaction to a real or imagined threat, event, or change, which is called a stressor. So in our lives at the moment, it is the pandemic. It is the COVID-19 pandemic that is sweeping the world. And this is the stressor that we are going through at the moment. Stressors can be external or internal. In this fact, it's both. The stressor has caused external manifestations, obviously, but also, and this is why we are doing this webinar, it caused a lot of internal fear or build-up of stresses. So a stressor can be something like an external, can be a loss, a tragedy, or a change, which it is. And also your thoughts, your beliefs, and your attitudes, which are internal stresses, these are also affected and can in turn affect your body and the way your mind and body functions. So let us quickly have a look. This is a very broad basis. It's just anything that is externally related to you that is known as an external stressor. And internal would be anything that is happening within your mind. So here we have fear. If you have a look here at fear, this is the pandemic. This is what the pandemic has done to us. It is an internal stressor and it is definitely affecting our minds. All right, let us understand our stress a little better. The COVID-19 pandemic has swept the world, and it is a global occurrence which has caused the shutdown of countries, of economies, of communities, and it is absolutely something that has rocked the world. It is something we will all be talking about as we grow older and older. Every one of us knows somebody now who is suffering from COVID-19 or is positive and has been admitted to hospital. I am sure everybody is aware of somebody in their vicinity or a family member who is actually suffering right now. This wasn't the case a few months back, but it is the case now. which is a reflection of how the statistics have gone up during the course of the last few months. So the buildup of fear is due to these stresses, and this is what we need to combat and learn how to handle, not only during the pandemic, but in general throughout our lives. Fear is the overriding emotion, and it is stemming from the uncertainty surrounding the unknown. Yes, we have not been through this, none of us, and we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So this is what the words that are going through our minds is, what is going to happen next? Are we going to be fine? Are our family members going to be fine? When is school going to start? When are colleges and work establishments going to start? This is what is going through all of our minds. Let me quickly cover the effects of stress. If you allow stress to build up in your system, it affects you in different degrees, not only physiologically, but also mentally. And these can eventually lead to ailments in your lives, which can have long-term effects in your general functioning and well-being. And this is what you must understand. Many of you are not realizing that some of your ailments are stress related. Not all of them. Some of them could be genetic, or some of them could be medical ailments. But some of you, and most definitely, are suffering from illnesses that are stemming from excess stress, which has not been handled in time. As a result, they manifest as symptoms. Let me just run through them very quickly. I'll run through the mild, the serious, and the more serious symptoms right now. The symptoms of mild stress are simply things like feeling anxious or irritable. Many of you are going through this, and it is because of the pandemic right now. And you may be going through episodes of increased heartbeat or respiration or adrenaline. Adrenaline is produced from your adrenal glands on your kidneys, and it is a chemical that is produced during any time of fear, where you feel scared, like a panic attack, for example. Your thinking may become hazy, you may have a fear of failure, mental blocks, inability to concentrate, and worrying about the future, which is obviously something we're all worried about. Then if that is unhandled, and then we can go on to serious stress, which is sweaty hands, increased heartbeat, trembling, nervous tics, dryness of the mouth, and so on, diarrhea, and also lower immunity to illness. This is a very important one. Your immunity comes down, so which is why we have a lot of adverts now, talking about natural remedies such as turmeric water and things like that. And if you do not handle your stress at the serious level, it can go into severe stress, in which case you may get gastrointestinal problems, especially ulcers, cramps, diarrhea, colitis, and irritable bowel syndrome. You may get glandular issues like thyroid malfunction. And you can also have cardiovascular issues like high blood pressure, heart attacks, abnormal heartbeat, and even strokes. And yes, these can be related to high stress levels. So we need to know how to handle our stress early. And if we had more time, perhaps we could do a presentation entirely on stress management, where we look into how much stress you're actually carrying in your system right now. Skin and itchy rashes. We may never relate certain ailments to stress, but many ailments are related to stress. If you can handle the stress, you immediately can handle the ailment. For example, I'm also a hypnotherapist, and I have seen how during the course of one session of hypnotherapy, if you can relieve the stress that's happening in your mind, it immediately has an effect on the body. I had a girl who had a very, very serious issue where she couldn't eat. She was unable to eat. For 3 days she had not eaten, and her mother brought her to me and said, "Ma'am, please do something. This girl is not eating. She can't sleep. She's so irritable." And the mother said, "Baidew muk onobote galiye di thake. So apuni kiba ta korok. Taik kiba ta korok." So we did a 1-hour session for her in hypnotherapy, and believe me, in her subconscious mind, there was a lot of problems which she did not share through her conscious mind. And the problem was that she had had a boyfriend breakup. And she was so angry with this boy that in her mind, she was able to scold him. I think she even beat him, but she was able to get rid of the anger that was pent up within her system. And believe me, when she came out of hypnosis, she was hungry. She said, "Ma'am, I'm so hungry. Please give me something to eat." She hadn't eaten for 3 days. So this is the immediate effect that the mind and the body have together. They work, they function as a single unit. And when one is troubled, it's most probably due to the other. They're related to each other. your immune system, as I already said, decreased resistance. Accelerated aging, that's a big factor. You become older much quicker when you're constantly under stress. So please remember that when you are under stress, you will become older quicker. And when you are no longer under stress, you will age much more slowly. Alzheimer's disease, the lesions are formed more readily. So it's not a cause of stress, but nevertheless, the lesions form faster. Sleep disturbances, as I already said, insomnia, and especially any sleep disturbances. That's one of the first questions we ask when it is stress related. How well do you sleep? And how well are you eating? These are the first questions that anyone will ask somebody who is stressed. Brain has crying spells, obviously depression, anxiety, sleep disturbances, and memory loss. And mental illnesses such as PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, or depression, they're all related to stress. Okay, so now let's come to the most important part. I hope the students have their pens and paper ready. Let us learn ways in which to reduce the fear and which you can bring down the fear in your systems, and how you can manage your stress and anxiety levels. Let's start with the pandemic first. Limit how often you check for updates. Many of us are looking at the statistics all the time. From the moment we get up at the newspapers, all we see, we are bombarded with information regarding the pandemic. Limit how often you check for updates. Only check once a day, preferably the evening news, or check through reliable sources such as the World Health Organization or any government outlets that are giving good statistics. So please remember that. Limit how often you check, because it is very counterproductive. The more you check, the more nervous you will become, and as a result, the more serious and higher will become your anxiety levels. So remember, it is counterproductive, so limit your check. Number 2, reduce your own personal risk. Now, there is nothing we can do about the world. It is already being handled by professionals at the doctor level, the medical level, at every level, the government level. It is being handled. So there's nothing that we can do to handle it on a national or an international level. So all we can do is reduce our risk on a personal level, which means we need to abide by the rules and the regulations, such as keeping our masks on and keeping social distancing, and also making sure that we wash our hands and sanitize our hands quickly and efficiently. It's better, more preferable to wash your hands with soap and water as opposed to sanitation. But if you do have sanitizers, obviously there are second best. Remember, when you are a drop in a mighty ocean, that single drop goes on to make up that mighty ocean against the fight for this disease. So therefore, it may be very small, but it is a start. So please reduce your personal risks. Make sure your loved ones are looked after, especially if you have someone at your house who is over 65 or under 12 years old. Make sure that they are well protected. Right, number 3, stay connected. The pandemic has had some positives as well. And one of them is that we are able to keep connected to our loved ones virtually, usually through the internet. But nevertheless, we are making an extra effort to make sure that our loved ones are well. And this is important for 2 reasons. Number 1, obviously, to keep connected, because at the end of the day, we are social beings. But there is a very important reason why we must remain connected. And that is because we are social beings. Human beings are social beings. We thrive on each other. We need each other. And because of that, we gain energy and strength from each other. So therefore, remaining connected makes us feel that we are not alone. This is a national and international fight. We are all united to fighting this pandemic, and we must not allow it to make us feel disconnected. We are one, we are unified against this. So therefore, we must stay connected. If you do talk to your loved ones about it, don't dominate the conversation with pandemic and coronavirus. Talk about other things as well. And that is important, because when you can't do something about something, imagined stress is more dangerous. Yes, imagined stress is more dangerous because it is affecting your mind all the time. Okay, let's talk about post-pandemic lifestyle changes. These are some of the measures that we had taken during the pandemic. Now, let us remember how we need to make these turn into a lifestyle change, and we must continue these not only now, but post-pandemic. Post-pandemic, we don't talk about very much. So every change that you are making right now must become lifestyle changes. The pandemic must have a moral. It must have a lesson. for humanity. And this lesson is that ultimately we must become more cautious and we must value our lives more, because our lives are so fragile that we must prolong our lives and live the best life that we can for the rest of our lives. Number 4, take care of your body. Professor Deepak Kumar Sharma, in his inaugural speech, said that physical, mental, and social were all aspects of our well-being and our wellness. And he's absolutely right. They are all interconnected. They all thrive off each other. And when we look after one, we are inevitably and by default looking after the others. So therefore, remember that developing your mind, developing your overall wellness will end up as a huge conglomerate of well-being. Maintain a routine as best you can. Yes, we are in a pandemic, but please get up at the right time. Please remember to keep a routine. Keep your mind active as much as you can. Take time for activities you enjoy. I think my previous speaker, Dr. Arindam Garg, he also mentioned this very much in his enlightening speech. And the third one is get out in nature as much as possible. We forget that nature has so many cures for us. We are buying and spending our money on very expensive things, but you know what? Nature gives us the breeze, gives us the sunshine, gives us vitamin D, which will act and help us to get over this. Let us channelize the energies of nature and make ourselves more abundantly happy. Now I'm going to talk about taking care of your mind, how to manage stress within your mind. Remember, I'm going to talk about behavioral changes and cognitive, that is through the mind. There are 6 of them. Please write them down as quickly as you can. 6 managing stress exercises which you can use from now itself. I use them as a way of life. I'm over 50, I'm 52 years old, but I feel much, much younger. And as a result, I keep myself happy every day and offload all my negativity every day. It is possible. I'm remembering something I want to tell you. There is a bhavan in called the Akashi Bhavan. It is in Varanasi, and it is a bhavan where people go to die. If you feel that you have only 2 more weeks to live and you are a senior citizen, you can go to Akashi Bhavan in Varanasi, but you have to die within 2 weeks. The BBC did a documentary here at this very bhavan, and this is what people said. All the inmates said that if you have stress, if you have someone to forgive, if you need to ask for forgiveness, if you are carrying a grudge in your heart, let it go. Let your karmic baggage become 0. And when you die, you will die happily, satisfied. So that is what they said. So this is what I am giving you. Techniques to de-stress on a daily basis. Please do it daily. And you will find at the end of the day, you will sleep well because you're not building up emotions of negativity. All right, number 1, deep breathing. And you can use some of these in conjunction with each other. It doesn't have to be just the one. You can use 2 or 3. And the beauty of these 6 techniques is that you can use them whenever you want and use the ones that you like the best. Mix and match. Okay, I'm giving you an offer of mixing and matching these techniques. Here we go. PMR, progressive muscle relaxation. I will go through each of these in a moment. Positive affirmations. We've already covered this very briefly. I think it was the first speaker, Dr. Deepak Sharma, who said that positive affirmations are very important. They are short, they are personal, they are positive, they are in the present tense. And if you can keep repeating these over and over again, you change your energy. You become like a magnet where you call positive energies towards you. It is a universal law. It is how the universe works. The book by Rhonda Byrne called The Secret was based on the law of attraction, where she said when you keep on saying positive things and you begin to change the wavelengths of your mind and how your brain functions, you become a positive entity and you attract positiveness towards you. Okay, then we go on to simple meditation, object, sounds, and imagery. This is a very common one, which many people are doing. We go into mindfulness, a beautiful technique, which has been very common throughout our scriptures, throughout hundreds and hundreds of years, but it has regained popularity as a very, very important. It is a spiritual technique. It's not religion-based. It is a very spiritual technique that makes you think about the present moment and not about the past or the future. We can't do anything about the past. It's over. We can't do anything about tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen. So the only power we have is in the present moment. And whatever is happening right now is the only thing that we can control. And finally, number 3 is called grounding. It's a beautiful technique. Let me run through all of them very quickly. The first one is deep breathing, as I've already said. Now, I want to add this particular technique with the deep breathing. It is called the red balloon technique, where as you breathe in, you visualize your lungs as 2 red balloons that are filling up with air. And as you breathe out, the balloons need to turn green because it calms you. And as a result, you will feel much calmer after 15 to 20 repetitions of this technique. Remember to use the visual imagery technique and exhale until there is no more air left. And repeat. You will find your pulse rate will decrease by within 10 to 15 beats a minute just by using this technique. Next one, PMR, muscle relaxation, progressive muscle relaxation. Muscle tension can be contracted and released. They say that muscle tension is caused by anxiety, and when you can use this technique, it relaxes and blocks your anxiety and stress. This is the one that is one of my favorites. I have seen it work within 21 days because that is the life cycle of a single cell of our body. These are proven methods of self-empowerment, and it rewires our brains to motivate us. I loved another line said by the first speaker. He said, "We are never too old to keep learning." My father died at the age of 93. 2 days before he died, he said to me, "Lawyer, teach me how to WhatsApp because I want to learn how to send photographs to my grandchild, to my daughter." And that was just 2 days before he passed away. That was at the age of 93. So we are never old. I think my previous speaker also spoke about being 85 and still being able to remember and speak about, learn new things. Positive affirmations, create your own, repeat it. 21 days, you are sending a different vibe into the universe. And as a result, you will notice different changes happening. All right, cognitive techniques, I'll quickly rush through. Simple meditation. This is the one I love. Mindfulness, bring your attention to the present moment. You can develop this through the practice of meditation. And remember, Zen proverb, when walking, walk, when eating, eat. Beautiful proverb, which is about living in the moment, living in the moment. You know, I have a pet dog, and he is a perfect example of mindfulness, constantly aware of what is going on around him, constantly aware, never holding on to grudges. I may have scolded my little dog in the morning, but within 5-10 minutes, he's forgotten and he's forgiven completely. And I learn a lot from watching around us. We all need to understand the lessons that nature teaches us because they are around us all the time. The next one. The grounding technique. The grounding technique is when you bring your attention to your breath and your body. You focus your attention to the present. You notice the sounds, the sights, the smells around you and what you are feeling. So it's basically like a kite. Your mind, when it goes and flies off like a kite, bring it back. Those of you who have flown kites will know that you can always bring the mind back to your body and your breath every time it drifts. Now, if you are students and you are doing drifting during your lectures, don't do it. Bring your mind back to what your professor is saying, okay? All right, next one. Number 6, spend some alone time every day. Let us be grateful to be alive. I think the pandemic has taught us that. Our lives are fragile. Our lives are precious. Introspect, focus on your purpose. Have a purpose. What have you done during this pandemic that is going to put your life on a higher quality level? I am writing my 2nd book. I finally have time. I have such a busy lifestyle that finally I have time to sit and write, and I'm 75% through my 2nd book, which is amazing because I would not have been able to do it had we not been under lockdown. So that's my positive for that. I hope all of you are indulging and spending your time on something positive, be it an online course, be it learning an instrument, be it painting, drawing, writing, poetry, whatever it may be. Focus on something which gives you a sense of purpose. Number 7, change your thinking. We have all talked about this. All of the speakers before me have spoken about changing your thinking, your attitude. Nilima Bhagavati Vaidya talked about changing your attitude. She spoke so beautifully about setting goals and talking about wonderful stories she'd mentioned, which I thought stories are the best way in order to impart knowledge. And it was a wonderful thing that she said about attitude. Your attitude is what makes you. Your attitude is you. Think positively about your life. You'll be prevented from thinking about negative things. Half a glass of water is always half full and not half empty. Remember that when you start thinking positively, everything is happy. Everything is in a happier light. And even if you are negative, you can change. And that is the beauty of human beings. We have higher cognitive intelligence. As a result, we can change our lives. We can change our lives if we know how to do it. Our minds are the most powerful tools that we must use to train ourselves to live a better quality of life. And finally, I come to the last slide of my presentation. Remember, everyone, we just live one lifetime. This is all we have to make something or a good use of our time on this earth. So it's very important that we understand that. And the pandemic has definitely shaken us and drummed this into us that our lives are precious. It is important, therefore, to listen to your body's signals to stress, especially during the pandemic. Again, I speak positively about the pandemic. It has taught us that our body responds. And when you can take that energy and turn it into something positive, that in itself is a quality. It is an asset. It is a tool. And it's something that you should take forward on a regular basis. Only then can you be in control of your lives post-pandemic as well as during. So let us begin today, all of us, and let us have a happy life. I hope all of you have been interested in what I've said, because I truly believe together we will get through this. Because at the end of the day, there's only one permanent thing, and that is change. Change is constant. We will get through this. We will be happier. We will get through it as happier human beings. Thank you all so much for listening. I do appreciate it, and I'm very grateful. Thank you. Back to Dr.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. In spite of your busy schedule, you have devoted your precious time for us and present such an in-depth, insightful, and radiant input, which is truly unique. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
It is said, if we are not willing to learn, nobody can help us. If we are determined to learn, no one can stop us. Dear participants, your overwhelming response shows your unconditional passion for learning. We appreciate your positive participation and thank you for being with us. Now it is a time for question and answer session. I request our colleague, Dr. Krishna Kalita, Assistant Professor in the Department of Education, Kumar Bhaskar Verma, Sanskrit and Ancient Studies University, to moderate the session. Please, Krishna. Krishna, do you hear me? Krishna?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
May we start the session, ma'am? Bhagavati ma'am, can we start?
Yes, please do, please do.
Ma'am, is it fine if we take questions for Agarwala ma'am first?
Yes, go on, it is audible, go on.
Okay. We have some questions for all the resource persons. First, I would like to take on questions for Agarwala ma'am. Ma'am, the first question is like how to handle stress created by the confused informations from media.
Okay, right. It's a good question. Yes. It's a very good question. Go to reliable sources. I think my previous speakers also mentioned the same thing. You know, people are concocting all kinds of weird and wonderful offshoots of the pandemic. And at the end of the day, it is troubling you more and making you more scared and fearful of the circumstances. So, you know, make sure you go to reliable sources. The World Health Organization, just keep them on your phone and go to their app. And the government, the Assam government has regulations. You can turn to them and go to COVID. Also, there are COVID helpline centers as well. So, you know, you learn to sift from it. I've already mentioned it in my session that don't become, don't come bogged down with these kinds of things. But remember one thing, stick to what is important, what you can do. That is stick to the regulations, washing your hands, sanitizing, you know, keeping social distancing, not going out too much. Stick to those and hopefully you'll be all right. You'll stay on the right track, and don't allow this negativity to infuse into your mind and turn you negative, because it can spiral downhill very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There is another question. How the stress of dormant state of mind can be reduced?
Say it again. I missed the questions. How can?
How the stress of dormant state of mind can be reduced?
Okay, very good. How can the stress of a dormant mind be reduced? There you go. Your answer is in your question. The dormant mind is not a good thing. An idle mind is a devil's workshop. Isn't that what they say? Right. So therefore, keep your mind active. Yes, we talk about going to the gym. We talk about physical activities. But what about our minds? You know, one of the ways of combating diseases later on in life is keeping your mind active. Whether you are doing a Sudoku puzzle, whether you are doing just reading a book, whether you are listening to music, keep your mind constantly active. And this is like aerobics for the mind. You know, it's essential to not allow your mind to remain dormant. And for that reason, keep it active all the time. And this will stop negativity from coming. And another thing here, if negativity comes towards you, learn to shoot it away. Learn to recognize it. Learn to show what it's trying to do to you, and push this negativity away. I think, Baidu, I think you also agree with me, and maybe you could also add a few words to this question.
Hello.
Yeah, but
Yes,
Baidu, you were nodding. You were nodding very much. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, the question is it all depends upon him or her, you know. The more she's exactly correct. Like the more you keep your mind active, you know, if you keep it dormant, if you don't do anything, go on thinking, you know, all the, you know, negativities, obviously you'll be more stressed. The best and the simplest way to keep the mind active. And if you keep the mind active, you will find the change itself. You'll observe the change in yourself itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. And there is another question. When I'm stressed, I face breathing problems. What can be an immediate solution for that? And also, how to enhance mindfulness?
Okay. Two questions there. I'll deal with the first question first. When you're not being able to breathe, that is because of a panic attack of some sort, you know, where you are so nervous or so scared. And let us remember one thing, this fear that we are talking about is not a bad thing. Any emotion is not a bad thing. It is preparing the body for action. That is why we get emotions. So when we talk about fear, it is not a negative thing. It is telling us, be ready, be aware of the future, what could happen to you. So fear is not negative. However, when fear becomes so intense that it affects your functioning, both physically and mentally, then that becomes a problem. That is where you need to understand that, is it warranted? Is it justified fear? Or is it unjustified fear? If it is justified fear, that there is somebody in front of you or a lion that is about to bite you, yes, that's justified fear. But if it is unjustified fear, it is a panic attack, there are quite a few ways you can handle it. Now, I won't have enough time to go into it right now, but I just want to tell you, if you cannot breathe and your heart is pounding very fast, then obviously it's medical intervention immediately, okay? I will not mince my words. Don't risk anything. Go straight to see a doctor, go to the hospital, get yourself checked out, because that is the first and preliminary way of action. But if you are able and you understand and it is lower in intensity, then you can use these breathing techniques that I was talking about. You can use visual imagery, positive affirmations, and deep breathing techniques to get through this phase of a panic attack. You will be able to reduce the intensity and reduce the frequency if you can understand why your body is reacting like this. And most importantly, if you are able to understand the stressor that is triggering this attack. So that's the first way. The second one you talked about was mindfulness. Mindfulness is a wonderful concept. Let me just stop talking for 5 seconds, and I want you to focus on anything or any sound around you right now. I'm going to stop talking for 5 seconds. Okay, so in the course of those 5 seconds of silence, I'm sure you heard many sounds happening around you, every one of us. those are the sounds you focus on. That is mindfulness. You focus in the moment, in the present. Don't think about anything. That is the essence of mindfulness, a beautiful technique that suddenly de-stresses you and calms you down. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. That was very nice. And I believe there are many questions, and you have given enough food for thought for all the participants to keep on thinking over these things. So there will be questions coming up more and more, I think. But because of the limit of time, we cannot take all the questions. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us. Now I would like to take the questions for Nilima, ma'am. Ma'am, may I take your questions?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Ma'am, there is a question. What is the difference between ego and self-respect? Some people get confused and understand them interchangeably.
Hello, please repeat again. Please repeat
Okay,
again.
ma'am. I'm repeating, ma'am. What is the difference between ego and self-respect?
Self-respect.
Yes, ma'am. Some people get confused and understand them interchangeably.
Okay. Self-respect is what the respect, which we call the self-esteem. Self-esteem and self-respect.
Yes,
it more or less, it carries the same meaning. Respect on yourself. Okay. How to maintain it, how to maintain it, how to carry on it. That is. And ego is totally the difference. All of us, somebody said all people have ego, but I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. Ego is something, you know, like showing the ego. That is, it centers around, centering around. Okay. That is totally different than from self-esteem or self-respect.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question is, what can I do when specific goals set by me are diverged by the state of mind?
Diverse by state of mind, I already said that the persistence, you know, if you want the goal to be achieved, you have to focus on the goal. You have to focus on the goal. If you are restless in between, if you just go on, you know, hearing somebody, you should be very focused. Somebody is telling you something, somebody is again advising you something, that will be a disturbed goal setting for you. So when you set a goal, when you fix a goal, you should be very focused on that, how to reach the goal. That is only, it will lead to success, otherwise not. I said in my presentation that to be successful in goal setting, you have to focus on that. And that depends on you, how you're focusing. How you're focusing, you know, the disturbed mind, it will disturb you. If somebody says something, you know better to monitor the progress, right? So it is you who can achieve the success. If you get disturbed, the disturbance is what? It is you who is creating the disturbance in mind, right? It is you who is facing the disturbance, creating the disturbance in mind. So you have to be focused. That is the only advice I can give you when you set the goal, when you aspire that you are going to do something. You cannot go on changing your goal all the time. If you go on changing your goal all the time, then it will be very difficult for you to achieve the goal, reach the goal.
Thank you, ma'am. One more question, ma'am. Ma'am, you have talked about auto-suggestion.
Yes.
But is there a chance of biasness when we go for auto-suggestion?
No, no, not at all. You know yourself always the best. Auto-suggestion is that you know how it can better you, how it can better you. You just believe me, after taking a class, every and each day, I talk to myself and give suggestion to myself that had I taken this, had I just touched this, it would have been better. The students would have understood better. That is the suggestion which benefits you. There cannot be any biasness. There cannot be any biasness which you're doing for your own betterment, auto-suggestion. I told you about this Virat, the cricket player. That is how to give performance better, how to make performance better, how he should go. These are the suggestions who he is giving by talking to himself. And this is something everybody should do. Everyone should do. And that will help you to progress, to know, and to better yourself. There is no question of biasness. There is no question of biasness at all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay? Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello? Alokabado?
Yes. Yes.
Arindam sir, Asana?
Asa, he's there. He's there.
Okay. Sir, may I take your questions? Hello?
Hello?
Sir?
Arindam sir?
I can see him on the screen. I can see him on screen.
But he is not hearing to Krishna. Arindam sir is messaging that he is not hearing to Krishna.
Oh,
Maybe network issue.
okay. Can you
One
hear
thing we
now?
can.
Can you hear now? Hello?
Yes.
Hello? I think the net issue is there again. Hello?
Krishna, madam.
Arindam,
We can do one thing. If we send all the questions related to the presentation of Arindam sir, then
Yes.
probably he will answer in the written form. We may
I
help
think
our
better.
participants in that way.
Yeah, better. Arindam, ama khuna paisa ne? Can you hear me, Arindam? Can you hear me? No, I think there is net problem. I think it is a good suggestion. You can just direct to him the questions which are for him, and he can just reply in mail. Otherwise, that will be, because I can see him nicely on the screen, but the only problem is the voice.
Yes.
Maybe because
not
of
audible, not audible.
Okay, ma'am. Then I think we can wrap up the question answer session here. Over to Aloka
Okay.
Badu.
Okay. Thank you, Krishna. And also thanks to all the research persons, and we used to have your cooperation in our research ventures also. I'd like to take this opportunity to extend our gratefulness to Professor Bhagavati Baidu and also Dr. Mallika, Head of the Department of Education and convener of the webinar, for initiating such a wonderful webinar on a very relevant theme. It is the time for formal vote of thanks. Now I would like to request Dr. Mallika Koleta, Head of the Department, Kumar Bhaskar Verma Sanskrit and Ancient Studies University, to offer the formal vote of thanks to you all.
Thank you, Dr. Aloka Baidu. Am I audible, Baidu?
Yes,
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. Dear participants, respected madam, very good afternoon. I am here to offer a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who have witnessed today's webinar, a memorable and successful event. So first of all, we must have to extend our sincere thanks and gratefulness from the bottom of my heart to our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Kumar Bhaskar Verma Sanskrit and Ancient Studies University in Albany, Professor Deepak Kumar Sharma. Sir, thank you not only for your insightful inaugural speech only, but also for giving your valuable time, guidance, and encouragement. Actually, your presence matters a lot to us, sir. So thank you for being with us today. Thank you, sir. I would like to offer my deep sense of gratitude and heartfelt thanks to our beloved Madam, Professor Nilima Bhagavati, who is also the International Secretary General of Council for Teacher Education. Madam, thank you so much for your vibrating speech on goal setting and developing positivity among the participants. Thank you for supporting us from all the corners, and you have guided us at every step with your inspiring words as well as your dynamic personality. Actually, you have radiated a source of energy among all the participants, madam. Actually, we feel very, we also feel very energetic when we look at your face, ma'am. Thank you so much. And thank you for those lovely stories also.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
Dr. Arindam Garg, Head of the Management Studies, Rajiv Gandhi University, Arunachal Pradesh, is here with us today. Sir, all the participants have got a new perspectives to look at the career development prospects after your thought-provoking speech. So we convey our best regards and heartfelt thanks to you, sir, for sharing your words of wisdom. It will help all the participants to explore a new world of career opportunities in the coming days. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable time. And Madam Loya Agarwala, we convey our sincere thanks and best regards, Madam. Actually, our words are very less just to say thank you. So, Madam, you are today here in today's webinar, and your speech, actually the speech you have delivered is being held as a milestone for all the participants to stay a better life, to stay a healthy life. Actually, ma'am, our words are few to express our gratitude, our gratefulness. Thank you for your heart-touching speech. You will be always in our heart, madam. Thank you. And our respected registrar, Sir Dr. Hemendra Sharma. Sir, we extend our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to you. Sir, we all know a registrar of a newly established university, how much busy schedule he has to maintain. But in spite of his busy schedule, our registrar, Sir Dr. Hemendra Sharma, is with us in this today's program, and his presence encouraged us a lot. Thank you, dear sir. And of course, we have to offer our sincere thanks to our Controller of Examinations, Dr. Sushanta Sharma sir. He's associated with us directly or indirectly in many ways. So thank you, our Kashyap sir. Of course, we have to offer our love, our gratefulness to dear Dr. Krishna Kolita, my colleague. She has nicely conducted that question and answer session. Love you, dear Krishna. Thanks to Mr. Banojit Rava. Actually, the team behind the technical things. So, Banojit, you are the leader of the technical team. বহুত বহুত ধন্যবাদ বনজিৎ, তুমি নহলে আমাৰ বহুত অসুবিধা হয়, সদায় কাৰণে তুমি আমাৰ অতি সম্পদ, আমাৰ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ৰে নহয়, আমাৰ গোটেই মানৱ জাতিৰ সম্পদ। বনজিৎ, thank you. Thank them, all the colleagues of our university, more particularly the members, my department, the members, the teachers, faculty members of my department, for your constant support and positive words. And dear participants, an event of this dimension cannot happen overnight without your keen interest, without your participation. So help to all of you dear participants, because of Kadas Baido, Dr. Olaka Baido, you have done the job wonderfully. You have moderated the program so nicely. Thank you, dear Olaka Baido. Love you all. And once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much to all those who have involved directly or indirectly in today's webinar. So, namaskar. Thank you. Over to Olaka Baido.
The host is actually, thank you to all.
Heartfelt thanks to you all, ma'am. বাইদেউ ভৱিষ্যতে আকৌ আমাক এনে ধৰণে সহযোগ কৰিব লাগিব, লয়াগাৰ্ল মেমক আমি অনুৰোধ জনাইছো, আৰু ভাল লাগিলে বাইদেউ বহু দিনৰ মূৰত।
Yes.
Thanks to you all participants and colleagues.
Madam,
I'm feeling proud. I'm feeling proud to see my former students organizing so well, you know.
We are also
that is the happiness. You can't assess my happiness right now, how proud I am feeling seeing you.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
yes,
that's wonderful. Great, really. And the speakers are also very, like great.
Yes.
You have to, I'm sure you have to call them again, invite them again in future.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am.
Both the areas are extremely pertinent. Career guidance, on the other hand, career counseling, and on the other hand, the stress which is killing lots of people now,
yes. The themes are so relevant.
Yeah.
Madam, one announcement is there, madam. One
Yes.
important announcement.
Yes,
Dr. Olaka Baido.
Yes.
Dr. Olaka Baido,
Yes,
please announce that participants will get the certificates after filling the feedback form, after submitting their feedback form, but it will take 2, 3, 4 days, maximum 7 days. Within 1 week, they will get all the certificates.
All the certificates. I have already write it. It in the chat box. But still, I request you all to have patience. Please submit the feedback form and wait for a few days to have the e-certificate. It will take time for generating with a limited number in 1 day. So thanks to once you again, and I would like to declare the webinar is coming to close with due permission from Nilima Bhagavati Baido and Loya Agarala Baido. Agarala Baido মই লগ পাইছিলো বাইদেউ আপোনাক।
Informal talk হৈ আছে আমাৰ এতিয়া। So I think can I leave now?
Okay, sir.
I would also like to leave. Thank you everyone for the wonderful webinar.
He's connected now.
Finally I got connected.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the network issue in between. It's a big struggle here.
Sir, still 200 participants are here. Still 200 participants are attending.
Wow.
আপোনাকো বহুত ধন্যবাদ জনালো স্যার আপনার নাম বহুত শুনিছো কিন্তু এতিয়ালৈকে তামানে লগ পোৱাৰ সৌভাগ্য হোৱা নাছিলে আজি লগ পালো স্যার বহুত ভাল লাগিলে
অহাবেলিলে অলপ সময়টো বেছি দিব ক্যাৰিয়াৰ কাউন্সেলিং 20-25 মিনিট আধা ঘন্টাত মই কি কম মই ধৰিবই পৰা নাই অকমান মানে বস্তুটো টপিকটো বৰ ডাঙৰ হয় এটা ফ্লোত যাবলৈ হলে মই একানে অলপ বিটস এন্ড পিচেছত কলো অকমান দীঘলীয়া সেশন এটা পালে মই ভালকে ফ্লোটো নিব পাৰিম তেতিয়া
Exactly এটো হ'ব we'll arrange that
Yes,
again and the questions will be sent to you I think 3 or 4 questions are there you
No
can reply
problem.
them you can reply them in mail
Yeah, I will do that.
Thank you
Okay.
sir
Thank you, Madam.
goodbye
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Baido. Thank you, ma'am.
thank you
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.